Hey YouTube, this is the Art of Prepping. I'm not sure if you can see this well with using a camera on my phone, but if you can look straight ahead, this tree right here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I only have like a 4x zoom on this little booger. So I just wanted to show you this tree. This one is plumb full of walnuts. I have lots of these trees on my property, and I just kind of was like, wow. Um, this is just a great example of just kind of, and this is just a tip, if you will. It's not a particular survival or prepping tip. It's just a general outdoors tip that, it's good to be able to identify certain trees. And this is just like one of many trees that you can get, nutrients at certain times of the year. Not to even speak of the bark that you can use around, all around the year, and of course all the other medleys that are non-edible types of purposes that we talk about, for fire making and shelter and blah blah blah. But this is just a great tree, though. Walnuts, man. The wood is very hardy, and it's very nutritious. These nuts. And of course, that's a seed for the tree, but we call them nuts. But I'm just going to pause this video and walk over there and underneath this tree. I just wanted to give you more of an aerial, or not so much aerial, but a distance kind of off to the side, flanking view, and we'll get a little closer. Just for people who are new to a tree identification, it just kind of dawned upon me that I actually have quite a few young individuals, which I want to welcome you again to my channel. A lot of new, young subscribers. And I just wanted to kind of introduce you to the walnut tree. It's a fabulous tree. So hold on. Okay, I'm here. It took me a few minutes to get through the woods here, a little bit more dense than I thought. But hey, this is the walnut tree right here. And if we look up, we can probably see, I know the resolution isn't the greatest on here. I did turn it down to a low resolution just to be able to, but you can see the walnuts here and so forth. I just wanted to kind of do this quick video, and this is what a walnut tree looks like. Let me try to access. Man, the tree is so tall, though. There's really no limbs I can pull down to show you the leaves, but here, let me just try to zoom in on this set of leaves here. Just see if you can even identify. It's going to kind of blend in, I guess. But you can see the telltale signs of this particular type of species here. Not sure if you can see that. Here, maybe there's some better contrast over here. Sorry, here we go. This is perfect. So this is as much as I can zoom in, but you can see here this structure of the leaves. It kind of it's like a serrated on each side, kind of a thinner, longer leaf format, and it's a really cool tree. It's man, this one is really loaded down. I'm not sure if you can see here. Oh man, let me just zoom out more. Maybe I know the contrast isn't so great, but actually it's hard to see. But in person, you can see them very easily. There's like literally dozens and dozens right just here on this limb, and man, this is just one of like maybe hundreds. There's like a little over 100, I believe, that I have of these in my property, and my neighbor properties too. That there's just everywhere. These walnut trees. I got them all over my yard, and I have a hard time wanting to get rid of them. And I don't know about you, but sometimes you have to clear land just to make it easier to maintain. And I've actually kind of some of the last trees that I'm questioning if I should go ahead and trim or not, or maybe even remove. But it's such a great survival resource. Can you imagine, though, if you really needed substance and you were literally dependent on your garden or any other animals you had for food, and you were hunting too and foraging in, the different greeneries and stuff, and you have this, and you have this many trees with walnuts and acorns we talked about in a previous video, and any other nuts, and man, persimmons. I have persimmons too. I mean, can you imagine the boost in morale just to have those calories? And let me just get you back here and get you back on target here. And this is actually an area that I was working on, and family was helping me cut up some things for firewood. Let me just make sure I'm pulled out all the way. Yeah, I was. Excuse me. And but yeah, so we're trying to clean this mess up here. Some trees that we took down, and but yeah, sometimes you just let your wood season. And I was trying to be real careful not to take down the walnut trees. But you know, nut trees in general are just a bounty of nutrition. And I'm not saying that you're going to use it every year. You may never really use it. You just may want to know that you have it, for one, and how to use them, or how to harvest them. And so, yeah. So I just wanted to reiterate that real quick, though. This is the walnut tree. Let's look at the bark here real quick, and just to get even a closer look. As you can see here. This particular tree, I'm going to have to say that it's probably a good 12 to 13 inches easily, maybe 14 right here in the width. It's a pretty girthy tree. Let me just take my extra large hands here just to give you a reference. It's a good sized tree, nothing like, you know, gigantic or nothing, but it was pretty good size, and it goes up pretty good. I don't know how to estimate the height on this sucker, but this is one of my smaller ones, but I'd have to say it's probably a good 50 to 60 feet, maybe. I'd say maybe 50 feet conservatively, but they're still growing. And I have some very large trees here, but this is kind of a mid-size, and I've been sometimes trying to clean these vines off. There's a lot of vines on the property, and they like to come up here and just choke the doggone tree. Look at this sucker. Isn't that something else? They just go up there and they choke the tree, and that ain't going to be work. That's a no-go here. On my property, we don't get along with the vines very well, and because what they'll do, they'll climb all the way up, and they'll get on some of the branches and choke out some of the leaves, or and eventually it kind of smothers the tree. And I'm not a big fan of that. And I think over here, this is a maple. Yep, that's what those are, I believe. It's a type of maple, and may not be able to see it very clear. I believe that I even put this on the low setting of resolution. I apologize. I was just, sometimes it's so much easier to download faster within like an hour or so when I do low resolution than higher, even though I've been trying to do on my main videos a good medium to high resolution, even though it takes hours to upload on a little cell phone with my, in my area, the cell towers are very slow to uplink. But if you have lower resolution, it does a lot better. But yeah, this is a maple here, I do believe, and beautiful trees too, excellent wood. And I think you see a lot more of those up in Canada, or at least the more north you go. I'm not sure how much more south you would see those. I might be on the border there about how far those go up, but there's a lot of trees here, as you can imagine. There's just trees everywhere. And so I'm gonna probably get some kind of really smart aleck comment for saying that, but yeah, they're everywhere. Oh my gosh! But it's true though, man. Trees are everywhere over here, and this tree right here, though, man, this thing is actually pretty big. It's very deceiving until you get up a little closer. Actually, let's go over there and look at it. But before I go over there, I just wanted to show you this walnut here. This one looks like it just must have fell in the last couple of days or so, or maybe even today. But this is just some dirt on there. But let me just show you. This is a pretty good size. This is a medium-sized walnut. I have actually processed a few of these, and let me tell you, it's a real handful. I mean, you have to have gloves, man. You got to put gloves on. It will stain your hands. I have a few videos after I did some processing. With me being so genius, I forgot to protect my hands, with the result of having stained hands in my videos, and going to the groceries or the market and actually being able to have to explain to everyone why my hands look like they do. It almost looked like I was doing something a little devious, and I'm like, no, I'm not into pot smoking or any type of sniffing glue or anything like that. Thank you very much. I just simply trying to enjoy some delicious fresh walnuts. Now, look at this tree. Now, I don't really know what this tree is. It's embarrassing. I try to know my trees, but if anybody knows what tree this is, here's some of the leaves. Oh, here's another closer one right here. Well, no, that goes to another tree. Sorry. But actually, I think that's the same tree. Is that the same leaves? I think it is. I think this is the same. This is just a smaller version of the tree that's next to this tree. Must be the baby tree. Here we go. Here's some leaves here. And so the undercarriage here, if anybody knows what tree this is, let me know. But let's look at this tree. Now, this is obviously not one of my biggest tree by any means, but this is definitely in the medium size of the trees that I have. Here we go with my hand here, and we can see the boundaries here, and we pull back so you get better perspective. And man, this thing is pretty big, Let's see here. I'd say this is a good 16 to 17 inches in diameter right here. Maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe, I didn't see it comes out that far on that side. Maybe 18 to 19 in that range, but it's good size. This sucker is a little bit bigger than it seems. Just as a reference, here's my shoes. These are 13 inches. I wear size 13, in case you don't know. So that just shows you it literally is maybe just on the mid, just a hair maybe. I don't know. Let's see here. Just a hair over the halfway mark. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not even half. That was almost not even half, because you got to kind of look over here. It kind of comes out more. Anyways, it's a big tree. I'd say between 19 and 23 inches, I would say roughly now, looking at my shoe. But let me tell you, this is a cool tree. So on this kind of tree, though, this would be really neat, though, if you're into hunting. And I'm not personally a hunter. I prefer not to kill my animals unless I really had to, just for survival. But you could put a small ladder here, a ladder system. It could be a metal, or create your own with wood and just, extra long screws, maybe 4 to 6 inch screws or long nails, and anchor them in there. And see right here, this could be a grab handle, this branch, and then this U type of branch here could be your first position that you could sit there, or build another seat into that position, or even go up a little bit farther. But great for archery, or if you had a rifle or whatever your system was to hunt with. Could even be a crossbow, bow and arrow. That could be a good little direction. You could even clean out some of the woods here around in the front and put feed down or whatever. Of course, in a lot of places, it's not acceptable to have that kind of bait type of thing, bait hunting, to draw them in and kill them. I would definitely not be for that. But I'm just saying, in a survival situation, it could just be one more resource, one more idea. But let me go back over here, and I'll bring you along. So hold on. Okay, I'm coming out of the woods here. Finally, I don't know about you guys. Let me know if you've seen any snakes this year. I've only seen a couple black snakes. No rattlesnakes like I've usually have in my area. No copperheads. Nothing like this. My neighbors say that they don't typically see them either. But I'm very careful though. Well, I should be even more careful. But I just don't see a lot of snakes. And let me just get out of here. I think I almost saw one. No, it's not. This is a branch. But man, snakes, man. I don't like snakes. And I'm sure most people don't either. But man, I just haven't seen them. It doesn't mean that they're not around. But I'm outside like all the freaking time. When I'm home, I'm like outside like 90% of the time. So with that, though, I just see how dark it gets in there? This is just like early afternoon and it's freaking dark. Let's go in here and just check it out. I mean, it's just deceiving, It's like the sun, it's overcast anyways, but it's just freaking dark when you get in these woods. We talked about this before on previous videos, like how dark it is. And this is actually new growth too. This is not like some kind of real dense forest. I mean, you go about another 1,000 feet back and you got some dense areas. And this is certainly not very dense, and it can provide a massive cover. Concealment too, especially if you were trying to evade any type of forces that were above. God forbid if we ever got into war and they came to us this time and we're fighting our own property, or on our own soil. Excuse me. You would have to consider some of this stuff, not only to have different resources on your property, especially if you have wooded areas, but where would give you the most protection from above. Now you may say, well, the art of prepping, that they're going to have things like FLIR, what's it called? FLIR, that's a heat signature, like like a camera system that looks at body temperature and it can identify you. And Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. They're probably going to be able to identify you regardless of what kind of cover. But, just on the off chance they don't have technology like that and they're just kind of doing open-eyed, just visual scouting, you could probably get away from it for a while. And of course, there's different ways to defeat the heat detection devices. We may have to do a video on that in the future, but Mylar blankets can actually help quite a bit, especially if you layer them and you put maybe, if you go into like a foxhole or you build a small trench and put a couple inches of dirt on you, well, I can tell you, you're going to have a hard time seeing that person. And there's a lot of other little tricks, but yeah, in here, we have just a medley of trees that may not be the best for survival, but nonetheless, though, they're wood. If anything else, even if you can't get food out of it, you can have wood to build structures, permanent or temporary, and of course to make fires. But anyways, this video is getting long, but I'm just rambling. It's an enjoyable day otherwise of the cold. I'm getting kind of quite chilled, to be honest with you, especially in this more darker part of the woods here. And I just wanted to show you, though, how much darker it is. I mean, especially on my phone. It doesn't pick up the light as well as the eye does, so it's going to look a little darker than it really is. But it's kind of dark, and it's amazing how here. Let me just walk back out, and how much brighter it is outside. I mean, it looks like the sun's getting ready to set, but it's not. It's just like so deceiving, like the sun's like over here. So, anyways, hey, I hope everyone's doing well. And, I got a request video, and coming soon. I got just a few people kind of asked for something similar, but I definitely want to ask, you guys to just if you could bear with me just a little bit, because I might have to break that video up into several pieces or parts or series or, whatever we want to call it. And it's a really good idea. Like I said, I had a couple people kind of over the last few weeks kind of say the same thing. A couple of them in the actual comment section, a couple of them through email. And they kind of wanted to know about winter preparedness. Some of them kind of wanted more about clothing and some with gear that has to do with winter. So I'm just going to kind of do maybe like a winter theme. It's not exactly winter, but of course it's good to kind of prepare before winter because we're preppers. And so especially being that this fall, at least in parts of America, are much cooler and it's supposed to be much cooler than normal, I think we should definitely get a head start on winter. Winter can really sneak up on you. And before you know it, you're in the middle of it and you're like, holy crap, I didn't buy the right clothing or other gear. And so it may not be a lot of gear that we're going to talk about, but in particular, different types of clothing and systems and maybe a little philosophy video. So there could be definitely like maybe even a handful of videos in the near future, in the next week or two, that whenever I can get to it and get really focused on it and maybe even draw an outline on my clipboard and just kind of like see how I'm going to go about it, that'd be really cool. Also, I don't know when it's going to be here. It could be another week or two. Who knows? But I have a very, very cool flashlight coming. I mean, it's amazing. Let me tell you that. In fact, might be my new favorite flashlight if it all works out as it's supposed to be. And but that's pretty much what I have coming up. And I'm very excited about that flashlight, though. This is something that I'm always on the hunt for something, the newer, that new product that's going to be actually worthy. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of new products that fail or they're just not what they're hyped to be. This one looks like it actually is a genuine, real diamond in the rough. And I just wanted to share it with you when I get that. Also, if you guys have any other ideas of any kind of really cool budget pocket knives, I've been on this kick. I have nice pocket knives. I'm not like super cheap or nothing. But I really have been getting into this genre. And I have noticed that the best responses too are in this same genre because there's a lot of people like myself that are on a budget, and that's all, nothing wrong with that. I mean, I got my nice knives and my middle class knives or my mid quality knives, and I'm not even sure how you would categorize besides saying budget knives. They're not crap knives, and I've done a couple of them even recently, and people love this. And if you have anything like that, any knives that I may not be aware of, I mean, I would have to be, without being sounding condescending or whatever, or egotistical or whatever, Mr. Know-It-All, but I keep up with it pretty good. I mean, that's one of my hobbies is to kind of keep up with the knife industry. I have a lot of subscriptions to various sites, go to a lot of the news websites that talk about this, the whole industry. And I personally go to almost every one of the knife manufacturer sites on a monthly basis at the minimum to keep up on any kind of ongoings, knife forums and so forth. So I do spend a lot of time, but right now I feel like that I've actually exhausted in terms of my purchasing. And of course, I haven't shown you all my knives that I own. But I have to say, though, that I feel like that I've actually got accessed and actually purchased everything that I would consider, that I would be interested in. And of course, when you're into this, you're always looking for that next really cool form factor, that next blade, or, in particular in this situation. And so I just wanted to see if there was something that you really loved for everyday carry. An EDC blade that was like less than 2 ounces is kind of what I'm into now. And personally, I've been kind of more like around the 1 ounce mark. It's just kind of really what I love. I mean, here, let me just see. I have it on me right now, actually. Legitimately, I really did. I have this K-Bar mini dozer here. And let me tell you, this knife is just one of those knives that, I mean, I just did a review on it. I had an initial review and the full review that will be coming out really soon, actually this weekend. Stay tuned. This Sunday I'll have the full review. But it's just a great knife. It's been out for a long time, but it took me many years to get to the point of saying, okay, I want to get it. And I understand why it's so cool, but it's so inexpensive, less than $20, and that's the kind of the price point. I'm not interested in the Walmart $3 and what is it, 87 cents or something like that. Those not, I have no interest in that kind of thing. They're not that great. I mean, they're okay if that's all you have. I'm definitely not knocking you, but I'm not looking for a heavy, bulky knife. I'm looking for something that's refined, lightweight, slender, very purposeful EDC. And that's the key here. We want to have purpose. And so if you know of those kind of knives, I typically wouldn't go to a Walmart probably to even look for that. But I do when I go. I'm open-minded to all sources of knives, even brands. But I have to say there has to be some standard of quality. So if there's something that I'm missing, maybe it's something that's been out for a while that I keep overlooking, thinking, I don't think I like that. I will have to say I'm still looking maybe for another flipper. Maybe it'd be the small Buck Vantage. I'm considering that again, but once again, I don't know. It's just a little bit thicker than I like, and maybe just a hair heavier than I would like. So I've kind of put that on the back burner, and I don't know if I want to do that. But anyways, it's not like I really need another knife. Let's just be honest. But it sure is fun to get something, every couple months, just get a new knife if you're into that. And that's why this K-Bar mini dozer, it comes in different colors. So, worst case scenario, since I have this love affair with the whole dozer series that K-Bar puts out in collaboration with Bob Dozer, I think I could always just go with another color and just maybe build a set of those, have a set or a collection, if you will, of those and just go with that. But actually, it's getting quite dark all of a sudden. So I think there's more clouds coming through. It's definitely getting colder out here. I cannot believe it's so freaking cold. And we just got into fall. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go inside and upload this video. You guys take care. Catch you soon.